Welcome back here today on the beautiful campus of Florida Panhandle Technical College. Another in our series of what's going on in the community. Here today with Erika Dotson. We're here to talk about the formation of a new branch of the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, in Vernon, Florida. There was a chapter of the VFW at one time. As with all fraternal organizations, there's a challenge with engaging people and getting them to participate on a regular basis. I know that our Chipley Kiwanis Club has that situation. Right now, we're at an all-time low in membership. There's just so much going on. When we come back, Erika is going to talk a little bit about VFW, the need for that VFW, the support system that it does provide those veterans, and more importantly, how you can get involved. Hopefully, through this effort, we're going to help Erika and her people form this new branch or revive this branch of the Vernon VFW. It's a great organization. I know that my father, who's 90, who was a World War II veteran, longtime VFW participant, spent a lot of time there. In times of need, in times of stress, he was able to share with those people many times what he couldn't share with his own family. So I certainly understand the need, the importance of that opportunity to have that fraternal mingling. And in the case of the VFW, they provide a great service for our returning veterans. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As mentioned, our guest today is Erika Dotson from Vernon. Thanks so very much. You came here early today. We had an early taping time. I know that makes it a little bit difficult, especially for a woman who has to get up and get beautified, but I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Tina Sloan, currently the mayor of Vernon, contacted me last week and said, can you help us out? We want to form a chapter of the VFW in Vernon. I've since found out that it actually is maybe to revive a chapter. You told me in the pre-show that Vernon used to have a VFW chapter. Tell me a little bit about what you know about that.
Well, the chapter was located in Vernon on the Carabel Highway, and it was very active when I was younger and not in the military. And I remember every year, or Veterans Day, when the school would have an event, the VFW members were invited to come over, and also at the end of the year, when they would present scholarships to the students, they would come over and join in with us. And it was a great joy just to see the VFW members out amongst the students in the community.
Obviously, you would not even be part of trying to form this VFW Post were you not a veteran yourself. In the pre-show you mentioned you had how many years in the Army?
I have 28 years.
And you
served
just recently?
In the Army. I just recently retired, and as a transportation officer. So I am a veteran. I served in 2 wars or campaigns, expeditions on foreign soil, which is a requirement to be a member of the VFW.
That's what the F is, the Foreign War.
A veteran of foreign wars,
right.
Yes.
Right. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Before I forget, that is something we take very seriously. I'm the most patriotic guy in the world, and I will argue that with anybody. I have not served, but I deeply respect and admire people who have. And I hope that everybody wants to challenge me on being the most patriotic, frankly. I want that. But I'll never miss an opportunity to thank those who have served, and whether they've gone in harm's way or not. And frankly, the stance of this show is that the support system, that family that stays behind, equally worthy of thanks. People don't realize what they provide in that dynamic. So, but for what it's worth, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And the city of Vernon is a patriotic town, and they're very military friendly, and they support all veteran events or military events. And on May the 20th, the city of Vernon will be having a brunch at 11 a.m. at the Vernon Community Center to assist in recruiting new and former members for the VFW Post.
Now, that's just a few days prior to Memorial Day, or at least our observed Memorial Day. You know, it's interesting. We don't seem to observe Memorial Day like we used to. Anymore, it's a 3-day weekend. Everybody can't wait to, get in their boat, go to Shell Island down on the beach, or picnic, or have fireworks or whatever. But when I was a kid, we observed Memorial Day to a much greater extent. It was more sedate. You may have some parades, but it was that patriotic, that embracing of those who have provided the freedoms that we enjoy today, which is what it's all about. And we seem to have gotten away from that. Only those who have served, and to winnow that group down even further, only those who have been in harm's way can truly appreciate what service really means. We say that a VFW post, and we talked about the importance of that VFW post in any community. Do you find that maybe sometimes we find returning veterans, especially these days where we're winding down many of these conflicts, we've got more and more people coming out of the service, returning from those conflicts. Do we find that VFW Post is that place, is that safe place where these veterans can come, they can talk to kindred spirits, they can share their stories without fear of being judged, because everyone in that room has been there, has done it, and has lived that life? Do you feel that that's probably one of the imports of that VFW?
Yes, because we as veterans, we do realize that once we have become exposed to the hostile environment, that we do experience a change, and we're not only comfortable, but we're more comfortable with sharing with persons that have experienced the same as we.
We have become, as a people, as a society, very rude. We see it every single day. People running stop signs, people in a crowd of people who they're with and still being on their cell phone and isolating themselves. It's become more accepted. I'm old-fashioned, so I consider it rude. I guess anymore we've just changed our rules or changed our way of doing business as people. But one of the things that I really have a problem with is those who judge when they haven't walked a mile in that person's shoes. And you was well put the way you said it. Speaking about what you've experienced while in harm's way, some people find it distasteful because they haven't experienced it, and they don't appreciate the value, they don't appreciate the importance of those who have done so. And so in that VFW environment. Now, the VFW also serves a community purpose. Many times in many communities, they are just exactly that organization who organizes those holiday memorials, who puts on the fish fry or the barbecue.
The poppy.
Exactly, with the poppies for the fundraisers. How long has it been since Vernon has had an active VFW post? Do you know? Ballpark?
It's been between 10 and 15 years.
Okay, so not that long then. Probably a lot of people remember it. Probably a lot of people lament the fact that it went away. What's been the reception so far? What have you been hearing on the street when you've told people about it? When you've asked? I'm sure that before you jumped into this, you kind of got a temperature check and checked around and said, "Would you participate? What do you think about the reviving this?" So far, what's the temperature?
We've had a good feeling about it, but the problem is reaching out to all veterans in the area. They don't have to just be a resident of Vernon or Chipley or Washington County. They can be a resident of the surrounding counties. And so we're trying to recruit or reach out to as many veterans as we can, because there are a lot of life members that are members of the VFW at large, but we would like for them to be a part of a post, and we just need to get the word out so that they know what we're trying to do, and that they will have a place to come and fellowship and enjoy each other.
And that's a great segue, because my next question, or next topic that I wanted to discuss, was the fact that you can be a member of a post, but the way the VFW works, if you're 1,000 miles away, you can stop into a VFW, feel welcomed, have all of the privileges that you would enjoy in your own home post as a member of the larger VFW organization. I know that my dad, when he traveled, he would be able to always know he could go there, in his case, to get a beer and to sit around and chew the fat for a while with guys. We have in Chipley, is it the American Legion Post?
Yes, sir.
Where is the closest VFW post as far as you know?
Panama City. There's several in Panama City.
Right. So you say you don't have to be a member or a resident of Vernon. Effectively, how far would people travel? I mean, an hour or 30 minutes, or what would you expect?
30 to 40 miles.
Okay. So if somebody was in Caryville and there was a post into Funiac, chances are they'd be torn which way to go. Could go either way depending on what their personal habits were, where they shopped, where they went to school, where they went to church. In the case of Vernon, I would imagine that once that you open your doors, if you're successful in restarting this, you should have a pretty good attendance, because by default you're going to acquire all of those people who live within halfway distance state of Panama City, and maybe more that just don't want to go to some of those bigger ones, would prefer that more small town atmosphere for Vernon. What's your biggest challenge right now? You got to get people involved. How hard is it from the paperwork side to get revived? Is that paperwork already in place from having an old post that it's not going to take much to revive it?
Well, it is going to take 10 brand new members in order to charter the new post, and then it will take 35 total members, whether they're life members or new members or former members. So we will need exactly 10 that are brand new, and then new from the last post, and then a total of 35. So members from the former post can still join the new post.
So I can see the challenge. First of all, you can't count in that 10 people that belonged before.
Not for the charter.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean, they'll be welcome to be, but in order to start that new charter. So you will be a totally new post compared to what was there before?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
New number, everything.
Okay. What is the organization that oversees the national VFW? I mean, not the name of it, but where are they located, and who do you actually deal with when you're trying to do this?
At this present time, I'm communicating with Mr. Frigon Jason in Panama City. He's the post commander of one of the VFW posts in Panama City of District 7. Mr. Delaney is actually the District 7 commander.
So you're able to work just with that district and not have to deal with the national?
Yes, sir.
Well, that makes it a lot easier.
So any questions that I have, I ask him, and he's been very helpful with assisting me.
What does it cost to join the VFW and to be a member? Do you know what that is?
I don't have that right.
There is a charge? Is there an annual fee? I would imagine it's kept fairly nominal, because otherwise if it was too expensive, you would have even a bigger challenge getting people involved.
I don't know what it is.
Well, that's okay. Let's find out so that I can update this over time as well, because I would think that that's an important question.
It is.
For many people, if it costs $500, that's going to be cost prohibitive, where if it was $35, no problem, especially if they don't know if they're going to participate. One of the things that seems to be a constant or a universal element in a VFW is a bar. That everywhere you go, and I'm sure that you've been, especially in your deployments and so forth, when you go to a VFW, typically, would that be something that you're going to embrace, or are you going to try to come from a more spiritual angle and not have alcohol, or do you know yet?
We will try to embrace that, because some of the veterans, they love to have their spirit and
Sure.
tell war stories. So, but at the present, we don't have a location that will allow that. So the city of Vernon will provide a location for the meetings until another location is acquired. So we would have to look at finding another location or a property where there's a building that will be able to accommodate everything that the veteran would like to enjoy in the VFW Post.
Yeah, I mean, for an alcohol license, you have to be so many feet from a school and from a church, and those are set by law. Those can't be circumvented, and nor would you want to. So ultimately, in a perfect world, you're going to get enough people and hopefully find that location or a piece of property on which you can build or something like that. In the meantime, though, your challenge is just to get that core group together who want to do it. Doesn't matter where you meet, doesn't matter whether you serve food and drink or not, but just to be able to start that process. When did you actually start trying to put this together, Erika?
We will start in the month of June after we have the brunch and we establish a recruitment team. Hopefully we will be able to start in the month of June, moving forward.
So this is brand new?
Yes, sir.
When did you wake up one morning and decide to do this?
When the mayor of Vernon called me and asked me, or when she emailed me and asked me about what will it take to get a VFW Post in the city of Vernon again. So I started researching and reached out to the post commander, and we've been communicating since.
I have had this whole thing upside down. So it's Miss Tina Sloan who built the fire under you to do this, and then she told you that you're the one that had to come here on this TV show and talk about it. Now I understand. Well, okay, I'm getting to learn a little bit more about Tina Sloan as we go on. Best of luck moving forward. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to find out more, what's your telephone number? Is that what you're using for a method of contact?
No, the point of contact is the City Hall.
Okay.
And that number is 850-535-2444.
Okay. So at this point, that's nice. I think there'd be a lot of people who would probably take it more seriously because the town or the city of Vernon is more or less the sponsor at this point. Would that be fair to say that they're the ones who? Very interesting. Probably more than not, many of the younger people are going to have family members or parents or someone who have been veterans versus themselves being a veteran. You're pretty young to be a 28-year veteran. How many folks, not in numbers, but are there a lot of people that you're finding that live in your general area who are members of the military at all, let alone veterans with as many years as you've got at your age? Is that sort of unusual?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you network with veterans now in any way? I know hasn't been long since you've been out, but are you a member of any other organizations, or do you participate in any other networking with veterans at this point?
Right now, I'm just involved with the VFW at large, so this is the most I've been involved with them, and I just remain in contact with my battle buddies and the locals that I meet for the veteran events. So.
And you're currently a full-time teacher at Vernon High School, right?
Yes, sir.
So you've got plenty to do. You didn't necessarily have to make this trip today. You weren't looking for something to do on a Tuesday morning. Erika, thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much
welcome.
For your energy and wanting to put this together, even if it started off with having your arm twisted. I think that at the end of the day, it's going to be pretty rewarding for you personally to see this come to fruition, and I can't help but think that you're going to do just that. So thanks again for being here today.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Our guest today has been Erika Dotson from Vernon. She is a full-time teacher at Vernon High School, currently trying, under the direction of the mayor of Vernon, Tina Sloan, to try to put together a group of people who are interested in getting a charter for a brand new VFW post in Vernon. If you're a veteran of foreign wars, and that is a requirement, you have to have served overseas That's what that F in the VFW stands for, the Foreign Wars. And you're interested in any way, shape, or form, call Vernon City Hall. That number's on the bottom of the screen right now. You can certainly stop by, talk to Michelle Cook, the town clerk, or anybody who's there at the front desk. They will get in touch with Miss Erika and eventually get you all the information. Hopefully, within a short period of time, we're going to see a VFW post in Vernon. I would like to invite you to come back over time and keep us apprised of what your progress is.
Sure.
Once you are a VFW, I'm sure that there's going to be a grand opening, a ribbon cutting, whatever that ceremony is. And I'd appreciate it if you'd invite us, and maybe we can help to publicize that as well.
Thank you. I will.
You're welcome, and thanks for being here again. Again, our guest has been Erika Dotson from Vernon, trying to start a brand new VFW post. If you're a veteran of foreign wars, this is one you're probably going to want to check up on. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate our military. Don't miss an opportunity to thank those. We'll be right back.